3 years ago, we found ourselves in the dirt, literally, as the WRX's brake pads expired exiting hog pen. Subaru addressed that shortcoming this year by adding high-temperature pads to the WRX with the new performance package, which helped shave 4 seconds off the earlier car's lap time in a WRX at 74 pounds heavier. Though it doesn't hold the top spot on Subaru's performance car roster, the WRX is an underrated machine. It's capable, precise, and rewarding to drive on a racetrack, and has come a long way since the days of the first-generation Impreza platform. The strength of those early cars lay primarily in their long travel suspensions, tall tires, and loose demeanor. They were ideally suited to rough roads. The current WRX, though, is most at home on smooth pavement, such as VIRs. The WRX demonstrates such confidence-inspiring turn-in and transitional responses that it entered spiral 5.6 mph faster than the Porsche 718 Cayman-S and 4.2 mph faster than the BMW M240i. And with a best lap time of 3:11.5, the WRX was more than 3 seconds ahead of its nearest LL1 class competitor, the Honda Civic C. It was also virtually unaffected by the water that so profoundly flummoxed the BRZ. Inverted front struts, on limited and premium models, and brick-based torque vectoring on the front axle helped turn the WRX into a highly proficient road course car. And proper brake pads don't hurt either. In fact, since it now trails the 2015 WRX STI by only 1 second around VIR, it might just be the WRX to have. The question isn't why is Nissan still selling a pickup truck that dates back to 2005, but whether its long overdue replacement will be built on the global Navara platform, which also underpins the newly revealed Mercedes-Benz X-Class. Yep, we're talking about the Nissan Frontier, the mid-size truck that refuses to die. According to Car and Driver, however, that'll change within a couple of years as a replacement has just been announced and is slated to be built at Nissan's production facility in Kenton, Mississippi. That said, Nissan still hasn't divulged whether or not the next Frontier will be built on the same platform as the Navara. Remember, the Navara also underpins the newly revealed Mercedes-Benz X-Class, which also won't be sold in the US. As for what the US will eventually receive, there's still a possibility Nissan will instead update the existing Frontier platform instead. Tack on a completely redesigned body, interior and new engines, and you're looking at a heavy refresh. This option would make sense for a number of reasons, mainly that it'll save time and money and, also, the existing platform has proven itself time and again. It may be old, but it ain't broken. It's the design inside and out, and engines that need to be replaced. Whatever is ultimately decided will need to be done right because as GM has proven with its Chevy Colorado and GMC Canyon, the mid-size truck segment in the US is making a big comeback. Ford's upcoming Reborn Ranger is further proof. A mid-size pickup truck war amongst these automakers will only benefit anxious buyers.
The all-new Subaru XV has been spotted in Malaysia again, this time in the heart of Kuala Lumpur, near Sengawang Plaza, by Paulton.org reader Nicholas Nye. Our previous sighting of the second-generation SUV was earlier in August, where a white unit was spotted in Sagambut, close to Tanjong's Sagambut plant. The current XV is manufactured there. The orange vehicle seen here is wearing a 2.0 IP badge at the rear, and is possibly the range-topping variant when it finally makes its launch debut, the other variant being the 2.0i following the current model. A price list for the variant surfaced not too long ago, revealing the retail price, room 1444948 on the road without insurance. The new XV, like the current one, should arrive as a locally assembled model. In March 2016, Glenn Tan, executive director of Tanjong International, revealed the company's Sagambut plant will be able to produce Subaru models that ride on the Subaru global platform, which include this new XV. Under the hood, expect an updated FB20 2.0-liter boxer 4-cylinder petrol engine with direct injection. On Taiwan spec XVs, the power plant serves up 154 horsepower and 196 Nm, and the engine is paired with an improved Lineartronic CVT and Subaru's well-known symmetrical AWD system. As far as equipment goes, the 2.0 IP comes with LED headlights, which is an upgrade from the halogen reflector units, likely retained for the 2.0i, fitted to both variants of its predecessor. There's also roof rails, a rear spoiler, silver-painted door handles, a reverse camera and a shark fin antenna. For the Taiwan market, the top-spec XV, called the 2.0 IS, comes with dual-zone automatic air conditioning, multi-info display, cruise control, electrically adjustable driver's seat, leather dash, sunroof and 18-inch alloy wheels. Safety kit is identical on the 2.0 IS and 2.0i sold there: vehicle dynamic control, VDC, 7 airbags, front, side, curtain and driver's knee, ABS, brake assist and rear ISOFIX child seat anchors, all coming as standard. Subaru's EyeSight driver assist suite isn't present over there, and it appears will follow suit due to the absence of dual-color cameras near the rear-view mirror. With the new XV set to make its launch debut soon, Subaru Malaysia is offering some attractive deals for the current XV and Forester, where the former can be had from just room 1099968. Complete with a free Subaru ticket.
Throwing all of its weight behind safety as a promotional device for the brand, Subaru could be considered the 21st century version of Volvo. However, unlike the Swedish company's focus with its past products, Subaru is not preoccupied with crash safety alone. Although the latest Impreza scored an impressive 35.8 points out of 37 in barrier testing en route to scoring the maximum 5-star safety rating from the NCAP. There's also EyeSight, Subaru's patented system to warn you of impending danger, and then stomp on the brakes when you're too dozy to react in time. And of course there's a well-established symmetrical all-wheel drive grip, alike with the active torque vectoring, which is a standard feature in our long-term test Impreza, in the 2.0 IS level of trim. This particular Impreza also comes with adaptive LED headlights, so it's certainly safe to drive. While the Impreza was not scalpel-like in its corner carving, its road holding was impressive and the handling was safe and consistent, thanks in part to that torque vectoring. The system made its presence felt mid-corner, smoothing the Impreza's power delivery and handling traits. On a trailing throttle, the Impreza took a neutral line and also tracked true with the throttle applied. Steering feedback and turn-in were both substantially better than earlier models wearing the same badge, but in a recent comparison against two other small cars we found the Impreza's steering was still not in the same league for feel. But the traction was unimpeachable and road holding was certainly competitive. It's encouraging to think the Impreza's new platform will also underpin the all-new WRX and STI, whenever those cars arrive. In short, this is a platform easily capable of accommodating a fair bit more power and torque than the test Impreza mustered. On the subject of output, the Impreza's horizontally opposed engine's power and torque provided linear performance, with a slight surge noticeable from 3,000 RPMs. Unfortunately, linear though the performance was, acceleration was not especially brisk. Performance was further dampened by the CVT automatic, which whined a lot when the drivetrain was working hard. All of which would be fine if reduced fuel consumption offset that performance deficit, but over several days of around town running it was hovering around 10.0 L/100 kilometers. Yet previous findings suggest CVT-equipped vehicles should excel in urban environs. During the 7-day test proper, and in freer flowing traffic, the Impreza's fuel consumption improved to 9.8 L/100 kilometers. For refinement, the engine revealed itself to be extremely free of vibration, right down to just above 1,000 RPMs, where it's frequently operating when the CVT is holding a higher ratio to conserve fuel. At open road speeds the flat four is felt, as opposed to heard, as a light rumble, and only lets loose a racket when under full load and at higher revs. However, it's clanky and rattly for the first start of the day, before the engine warms up. And from a cold start, the engine initially revs moderately hard and takes a while to settle down. On a couple of occasions the CVT was also reluctant to select a forward gear, a second or two before the car would move off from a standing start. When it did so, the shift was accompanied by an inelegant thud. And the idle stop system was not especially adept at restarting the engine without a fair degree of rocking and rolling. So the Impreza's power plant is a mixed bag, and the CVT doesn't make things substantially better. But the rest of the package is impressive overall, with the car's eyesight system leading the way. The active safety system works better than previous iterations, picking up line markings on the shoulder of country roads which a few prestige European models don't. It does get confused by unusual roadside furniture. Approach a hairpin bend a bit hot and the outside arm cope area will throw the eyesight system into alarm, manifested as a soft but insistent chime. But it's less strident than some similar systems, and the autonomous emergency braking is not as quickly triggered by cars in front slowing while making a left-hand turn. Another useful feature of the eyesight system is a prompt for the driver when the car ahead has moved forward. One unusual intersection where trams turn flummoxed the eyesight system, and it actually alerted me that the car in front had moved forward, after the traffic light had already changed to red. It seems autonomous cars still have a long way to go before they can fully comprehend Melbourne's traffic flow nuances, but on balance, this is one feature we like. The Impreza's headlights were well adjusted on low beam and shone white, but were a little anemic and could do with more power. Their adaptive cornering function was useful negotiating darker street corners. As with Subaru models generally, the Impreza's field of vision was commendable. The A-pillars are relatively narrow and set further outboard and back so you can see the traffic light across the intersection when making a right turn, not the case with some cars. I found the seats to be flat in the cushion and wide, but the side bolstering was adequate to hold the occupant in place for higher G-forces. Heating elements were welcome during colder days in the final month of winter, but the low setting didn't do much. If it's cold enough to warrant seat heating, select high every time. The instruments were easy to read, as usual in a Subaru, but the infotainment functions, combining also the climate control readout, looked a little busy. That said, the 3D rendering in the sat-nav display was wonderful. Wiper and indicator stalks were well damped and contributed to the car's overall feel of quality, fit and finish. For the three-car comparison, the Impreza took the top step of the podium for rear seat accommodation, which was more generous than the other two cars. There was plenty of headroom and knee room for adults. And there was also enough free space under the front seats to stretch out a little. But Subaru hasn't equipped this $29,000 car with adjustable rear air vents. And the lap sash belt for the center rear position has to be anchored and two buckles to be used. It also has to be unhooked from the seat's feeder before the seats are folded down, otherwise it obstructs through loading. The rear seats don't quite fold flat, but they do come pretty close. When dropped, they won't sit completely flush with the boot floor, being raised slightly higher. A space-saver spare tire resides under the boot floor, and at 345 liters, the boot itself is not especially large, although that can be forgiven in light of the extra drivetrain components underneath. For most users it will be at least adequate. As a brand new car, the Impreza still has that new car smell, but, to be honest, it's not especially pleasant. It's a bitter aroma of compounds which couldn't possibly be produced by nature. In summation, the Subaru Impreza is an easy car to drive and it comes very well equipped for the money. To be frank, it's not a car which will earn rave reviews from driving enthusiasts, but it does most things well, and there's no denying it's a car which might very well save your life one day.